Our AEM data software here to evaluate a data log captured from a quarter-mile pass on a 9-second car. This was a K-Series all-motor car, and this is the data log that we had captured off the onboard logger. We're going to be seeing that the channels list here, if we look down what's available, it's very, very basic. At the time this log was taken, there was not as much data available on the onboard logging. There was half the channels available. This was maybe about 5-6 years ago, and AEM has since went in and expanded, and they've doubled the amount of channels you can log. So that's why we don't see that we have a whole bunch of information here. But the log will still be relevant. We can still use it for doing our illustration purposes for this video. So taking a look at this, we can see in our general tuning tab, we're going to see all of our basic data here. We can see the white is our engine RPM. We can see that we have first gear, and every time you see a drop here, this is going to be the next gear change. This is second gear, third gear, fourth gear. So we can see 1, 2, 3, 4. Now if we had gear position or gear calculated in here, we could overlay that and distinguish gear 1, 2, 3, 4, but we also can just look at this and figure out what's going on. And we can see here, if we look at this area where it's sort of stagnant in the engine RPM, this is going to be our two-step Rev Limiter. Now, again, I didn't have the channels available to log two-step, but if I did, it would show me that the two-step was active and what RPM I had it set at. And we can see here, just looking at what my engine speed is showing me in my trace view, it's showing right around 79 to 8,000, and that's right around where my two-step was in this particular tune that we went and used to go down the quarter mile. If we kind of look at some other data here, we can see that our yellow here is our engine load, and we can see that it's naturally aspirated and it's staying right around 0 psi, and that's because it's pretty efficient. We can see on the top end of the track here, it starts to gain a little bit of positive pressure here. We see 0.8, we see even about 1.1 psi. We see a little bit higher than atmospheric because this had individual throttle bodies with a ram air scoop on them to give us the ram air effect, and we're going to be seeing that as a result of building some positive manifold pressure coming into the engine and having that effect. So just looking at some other data here, we see the green. This is our wideband. We can see that throughout most of the power band here, after the gear shift, if we settle into the gear, right around here, row 2 is about 13.4. We go up top here, it's 13.0. We can go in and might be able to go and richen up maybe the first part between 7,000 and 8,500. We can see that it's at 13.4. Then it richens up right around 13.0, 12.8 on the high end of the gear, and we could leave that alone. So looks like we might be able to go and richen this area up. Then our ignition timing, if we take a look at that, this pink here, we're going to be seeing that we start off on the two-step right around 29 degrees. And we launch it right around 34 degrees, and then we drive through here throughout the rest of the run. It's going to be locked right around 29 to 30 degrees, and that's where it made the optimal power on the dyno, so we see that represented here. So this is going to be a basic look of our pass. Now what we can notice here, if we look, the white of our engine RPM was actually getting eclipsed